Hi, Tom. We've been thinking about doing a Star Wars Episode 1, and Episode 1 being the Phantom Menace. So I'm not a great fan of these three films, 1, 2, and 3, but I can be convinced of its genre. So go for it, Tom.
What don't you like about it?
It's too there's too many special effects in it. I'm a traditionalist, so obviously films 4, 5, and 6. I felt that they were Star Wars. Star Wars was to me a childhood dream, and we didn't have all those special effects. So this is what tainted me with Phantom Menace, and with Phantom Menace, it's the area that we've got too many new characters, and it's too much going on in the film. You could argue that the first 3 that we saw filmed in the trilogy, they don't seem to move as fast as say Phantom Menace. And maybe that's unfair, but this wasn't the first film you saw, was it? Because this is 1999. So which one in the genre did you see first?
4, I think. A New Hope.
Right, well, it was A New Hope, was it?
Yeah, the original trilogy. And then I remember 1 turning up and not knowing what order it was. And then there was obviously 2 and 3, but I didn't even realise 2 had come out.
So you watched New Hope?
I saw 3 in the cinema.
Yeah. So you watched New Hope, film number 4, but that was the 1976 film. And then we see Phantom Menace 1999. So that must have completely mucked with your head.
Yeah, it was a bit confusing because obviously 2 and 3 were missing, so there was a part of the story missing.
Yeah. So, you know, in Phantom Menace, we come up with this wonderful figure behind us, Darth Maul, who seems to dominate the film. To be honest with you, he comes from nowhere. Obviously, we're being introduced to the High Council with so many different characters associated with the High Council. Qui-Gon Jinn and the great Jedi Master that tragically eventually dies. But Darth Maul, is he a character that should be feared as much as Darth Vader, for example?
Probably one of the most important characters in the entire saga. Because if he didn't kill Qui-Gon Jinn, Anakin would have been trained by Qui-Gon, and he would never have turned to the dark side, and they would never have been balanced before.
So you actually blame. So do you think that was a deliberate thing, or?
Yeah, he killed the father figure,
right,
of Anakin, and then he's left with Obi-Wan, who's not even ready to be a Jedi Master, and he wasn't good enough to train Anakin in certain things, which ultimately led up to him turning to the dark side.
So when we look at Darth Maul, he's fueled by the aggressive side of the dark side, the energies of the dark side, and
trained by Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
As an orphan.
So his strength, you know, it's that sense of complete dominance, and you know, we one thing that we do see about this character is the double-edged lightsaber. Now, we don't see that in New Hope, and we don't see that in Empire Strikes Back, and we don't actually see that in Return of the Jedi. Or am I completely wrong? I can't remember seeing a double-edged lightsaber at all. It was always single.
It was always the same with the later films. each film there's a new cooler, weird lightsaber. Like he had the double-sided one. Christopher Lee had the curved sword, the curved hilt.
Yeah.
General Grievous had 4 arms with 4 lightsabers. It was
And
always different, wasn't it?
so the thing with the General Grievous, it was I'm writing what I understand. General Grievous was collecting those lightsabers off Jedi. That's correct. That he had killed. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like a trophy, wasn't it?
Trophy, yeah. And then Darth Maul, and then we actually, one of the other weird characters, the Neminoids. We don't. That's another weird thing. I actually initially thought that initially thought that Darth Sidious was a Neminoid. That's what I thought when I saw this, because
Oh yeah, so he was a Nemoidian fucking governor or something.
yeah, that's right. But it's nothing of the sort, because they're sort of dressed the same and so on. So there was a lot of debate at the time whether Darth Sidious should be the cover figure associated with this series, with these new 3. I can remember because we've got Darth Vader seemed to dominate New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. It was always about him. So,
But he was licking the Emperor's ass,
Darth
which
Maul,
was
yeah?
Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
Darth Maul, he got too arrogant. He was good. He was hard and that, but
yeah.
too arrogant. That's why he got cut in half.
But isn't that what the dark side does to you? That sort of,
Sometimes.
yeah, the sort of strength. No, looking here, the Sith apprentices in history, the deadly Darth Maul, and it's just, the tools. I've got an arrangement of tools. He's got loads of new tools. He's very much into using his probe droids, as we see with Phantom.
He's like an assassin.
Yeah.
He's a shadow hunter.
No, that's a new word for me. Shadow hunter. That's not what I've come across before. And Darth Maul lightsaber contained 2 sets of internal components. One can act as a backup to the other. So, and that's why that's what apparently that's what this is saying in the data file.
Mm-hmm.
And Darth Maul's Sith infiltrator spaceship is equipped with a rare cloaking device, allowing him to travel in a form of invisibility. He seemed to sort of come up quite suddenly in the films. He just seemed to appear.
Yeah, that's what they do though. For some reason, sometimes they'll introduce a character, say nothing about them, where they come from in a film, and then release loads of books explaining a backstory. Like with Darth Maul's lightsaber, he's copied an ancient Sith Lord who was a fallen Jedi called Exar Kun. And it was just associated with the Sith, that type of lightsaber. That's the backstory to it, pretty much.
The Queen Amidala, that was a bit of a shocking figure, and it was just a confusion in the film. Who actually was she? And
it didn't quite add up, did it? It didn't quite make sense.
Queen of the Naboo. At the age of 14, she was raised by humble parents in a small mountain village. What's all that about?
Well, what confuses me is that they change over from being queen every couple of years. So like in the second one, she's not the queen anymore. It don't make sense. It confused me, so I don't take much notice of that.
And the constant changing of outfits. In the when we look, if we compare this with New Hope, you almost as if you see you can see Princess Leia in the same outfit throughout most of the film, and Luke Skywalker in more or less the same outfit throughout the film. Queen Amidala has a massive wardrobe. She's got a huge wardrobe. Amidala's traveling gown, Amidala's Senate gown, Amidala's parade gown, you know, and Amidala's battle gown. You can't really get used to who she is.
Politician.
It's very difficult to understand where she is. Yeah, the Boo's monarchy is not hereditary. Rulers are elected by their people on merit. Queen Amidala is not the youngest sovereign ever to rule. So she came to rule at 14. Amidala can step down from the throne whenever she chooses. So that comes into with yours. She can step down.
How old is she in the film?
Right. So looking at this, she's how old is she? All I know, she came to power at the age of 14. And how old is she in the film? That's the big question. Do you know the answer to that one?
No. But the reason I ask is because obviously Anakin's really young.
Yeah.
He looks about 10.
And she yeah. It's that strange thing, isn't it? Link between a 10 and a 14-year-old. Oh, and there they are. There's the two of them. Queen Amidala in her garish Naboo clothes. Lots of people didn't like. They just didn't like his character. They didn't like his acting. What do you feel about that?
About who now? Darth Maul.
No, the future Darth Vader. There he is. You're looking at the screen.
The kid.
Yeah. There was
annoying, but feel a bit sorry for the actor, like, because he got bullied and that, didn't he, after the film at school?
Yeah, and
went off the rails. He went to jail and that, didn't he?
Yeah. So Anakin. I don't think he did much acting after that, to be honest with you.
No. I think he would have been more aggressive in the second and third film if he kept the role.
Yeah.
He looks harder.
Yeah. But it was just I think when we look at Anakin Skywalker and we look at these three films, I think I think they were on experimental lines. I don't think it was understood that the three films could actually work, because it had been so many years since the first three: New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. It'd been so many years. So to be honest with you, Tom, I saw all three films, and when you got to 1990, you thought there's going to be a new film. Alec Guinness was saying he's not going to be in another one, right? And it's like you got 1995, and you're thinking, when is this new film? And you get the announcement that there's a new film coming, and you don't believe it. And then suddenly in 1999, you get Phantom Menace. So back into the Jedi Council. I felt the role of the Jedi Council in the film. We got Mace Windu, which is a massive character. We've got the character of Yoda that we're so used to. But it's almost as if the Jedi High Council is full of so many different races, and I know that's what they're trying to do, but it gets very confusing who's who.
I think they're a bunch of arseholes. They're all stuck up. They got their own little political opinions, and they think they rule the place, but they're not.
And if you got the character of Plo Koon, which is the furthest one on the right there, and you're thinking, well, you've got all these characters introduced, but we don't actually know them. It's more or less about Mace Windu, and it's about our wonderful Yoda, and we get introduced to others of his race, but
only one. There's a female one.
Yeah.
The Yaddle.
Adi Gali, which is not even in this one. she was associated with, born into a highly placed diplomatic family stationed in Coruscant, the only female character in the council. And when we actually come into the council further on, we when we got mentions of the council and all the rest of it, there's more of a, there are more females, and obviously when we look at Rey again, and we think about Princess Leia, and it's this character invasion.
Well, it's to sell toys, isn't it? That's what it comes down to.
What's that?
It comes down to just selling toys.
Really?
And merchandise, like books and comics. Because if you look at the books and the comics and all the toys, you learn a bit about the characters, and it's just the way they work, isn't it?
And then you've got Jar Binks.
Oh yeah, I know.
Jar Binks, Qui-Gon Jinn, and you've obviously got Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you got these the weird, the very weird underworld of Jar Binks, the underwater world of Jar Binks, and I don't think we really had that in any of the other films.
Not really.
I can't remember an underwater world in any of the other films. Can you?
I think that was the only one.
And it was a very strange underwater world. I don't think the guns and the gun people really shone forth in Phantom Menace.
Nah. They were just there, weren't they? Just to be silly.
Yeah. The gun sub.
Mm.
So when you think about it, there are quite a number of faults with the film, but we've talked about faults. Positive things about Phantom Menace is introducing the whole thing, isn't it? Did it do enough? Because we've got Jabba the Hutts, we've got the Hutts, we've got their family being introduced. We know where they came from. And we've got Naboo, we've got everything going on, and so what could they have done to bring us more into the 9 films?
Don't know, really. I mean, they could have explained Darth Maul a bit more, maybe.
Yeah, I think that.
But a lot of the time was just a silly comedy, wasn't it, with the droids and the guns, Jar Binks. Like in the pod racing thing, I can't stand the pod racing.
No.
I can't really stand the first half of the film. I like the end better, like with the fighting. Yeah. I thought the fight scene at the end was really good.
Actually, Tom, I agree with you there. The fighting was actually pretty good.
That's basically the main purpose of the film.
What, the fighting at the end? What?
Yeah, because like I said, it sets up the rest of them, the outcome of the fight. It sets up the rest of the films. Yeah. Sets up Darth Vader coming into existence eventually.
Do you know one thing I'm thinking? You mentioned about introducing Darth Maul a bit better, which we don't.
I don't think they should have killed him off.
So if they didn't kill him off, we'd have learned more about Darth Maul, yeah?
Yeah, he should have been the bad guy in the second one and the third one as well, and then he gets killed in the third one.
Yeah.
But obviously, they kill him off in the first one, but he's not really dead. You later discover in the cartoons. But for the purpose of the film, he was killed off at the end intentionally. That's what they meant to do originally.
So then you bring new characters in and you're talking about your merchandise. That's really cynical, but I understand where you're coming from.
They brought Christopher Lee in then, didn't they?
Yes. Yes.
Didn't really think much of his character.
What? Christopher Lee in New Hope?
No, in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, right. No, I was getting you completely mixed up with Peter Cushing then.
Yeah, they were good mates, weren't
Easy mistake to make. So apologies for that one. So yes, that was a brilliant role though, when you think about it.
they?
He played like a Hammer character, you know. But that's why he was there, really.
I wish they just kept Darth Maul around. I
So
thought he was more interesting.
Christopher Lee and Darth Maul, or not Christopher Lee at all?
Not Christopher Lee at all.
I think
I don't like his character. I never have, really. He's a good actor,
yeah.
but his character was there because they killed Darth Maul off, basically.
Yeah. Do you know the character? Obviously, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you were thinking, well, when we think about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then we think about Qui-Gon Jinn. Obi-Wan Kenobi, we know about Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Qui-Gon Jinn, could they introduce him a bit more?
Yeah. Could have kept him alive a bit longer, couldn't they?
I don't think I know bugger all about Qui-Gon Jinn, actually. Really?
Well, he was Christopher Lee's apprentice originally.
I know he's a great character. So
he's a great character if you read the books and the comics, and it goes deeper into him. But for the purpose of the film, he's all right in the film.
You know when you keep talking about the comic books and is there if somebody went for a series of the comic books or books, is there is there a must do series? You know, is there any series of books or what covers all the information from the huge pantheon of films? Is there any set series that can do that, or is it having to dip into this series, that series, the films?
Yeah, bit of everything.
So there's nobody's actually managed to do the ultimate.
Well, there's loads of nerds out there that have.
Oh, they're right. They're all right. Fair enough.
So, yeah,
so this is sort of epitomizes the film, really. The pod racing that you don't like, and there we've got Naboo, and then we've got the main fight between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn, and obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi. So does that sort of, is that a bit of an overview of the film? And that's the Gun City underneath the water. Sort of that fills it a bit more, but I do believe there we go. We got the pod racing again. To be honest with you, I felt the scenic stuff with the pod racing was good, but the actual pod racing proper probably didn't hold up too much. Would you agree, or?
Yeah, I just found it a bit boring.
A bit too long.
Yeah.
Now,
that's the only thing with episode 1. Like, that's when I was a kid. They were coming on the telly. I used to skip episode 1. Or sometimes I used to just like catch the end.
Oh, right. Because of the war scene.
Yeah, because of the bloody pod racing and that used to do my head in. I just couldn't be bothered to watch it.
And what about our Nemodians?
What about them?
Raised as grubs until the age of 7, young Nemodians are kept in communal hives and given limited amounts of food. The less acquisitive ones are allowed to eat, allowed to die and to be eaten by the others, and the others hoard more than they can eat, so they can be more superior to everybody else. So these are basically these are grubs.
Never knew that.
Ugly looking buggers. This practice makes Nemanoidians greedy and fearful of death. As adult Nemanodians are known for their exceptional organization abilities, driven by their intense desire for possessions. They have built the largest corporation in the galaxy, led by the Nemodians. The Trade Federation is a labyrinthal organization of bureaucrats and trade off officials from many worlds that has basically obtained the galaxy with their sense of trade. And they're quite strange characters.
I like it when Darth Vader kills them all in episode 3.
He doesn't like him, does he?
No. They're all like, oh, please, don't kill me.
Please don't kill me, yeah, please.
And he just slices them to pieces.
Yeah. Well, what do you expect with grubs?
Exactly.
So I've got the one at the one at the back is known as Rune Heiko, and the one at the front is known as Nut Gunray.
Newt Gunray.
Newt Gunray, that's the one. Not Nut Gunray, Newt Gunray. It's quite a nice image, actually. Right, and I'm not exactly sure what the one in the middle is, who he is. And then we're introduced to the wonderful battle droids. To be honest with you, I didn't think much of the battle droids at all. They were crap.
They were crap, weren't they? They're quite funny later on, though. But in the first one, they were meant to be all serious, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, and it never worked that way, did it?
No.
The Galactic Republic has survived disagreements, standoffs, and even rebellions amongst its member worlds, relying on the Jedi Knights to quell conflicts. In this enlightened age, few standing armies are maintained that serve anything other than a ceremonial purpose. It's these ones, the battle droids, that are a battle army of the Republic. I tell you what, if you were reliant upon these guys to win a war, then
Might as well get stormtroopers. They got better shot.
Exactly.
Got better aim.
And obviously they're taking on the gun guns, and if the gun guns had a little bit more oomph in them, the gun guns would have beaten them.
Well, Jar Jar's just so dopey, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
He basically wins a battle by being thick.
Yeah, exactly.
Just knocking things over, and then it happens to blow loads of droids up and crap.
And what about this? The droid Akas, the battle droids.
The droidicas.
The droidicas, yeah.
No.
What?
Not super battle droids, is it? No, it's the one with the shield, isn't it?
Yes.
Got his own little bubble.
Yes.
They've got another name as well, but I can't remember for the life of me what they are.
Yes. No, colicoids. They are formidable, heavy-duty killing machines to back up the battle droids in the face of determined opposition. So they would roll in, and they would open up, and they would usually have a barrier in front of them, and to repel pistol fire and substantially weaken high-energy rifle and artillery bolts. A deflector shield, that's what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
So this isn't a combat stance. They're quite vicious things, really.
Yeah, they roll everywhere, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have done more with these. And that says them rolling into battle. And again, Jar Jar. Now, if you were to do the film, right? What would you replace Jar Jar with? A group, a civilization. I wouldn't do an underwater civilization, that's for sure.
I wouldn't replace him. I'd just have him be a secret Sith Lord.
Yeah, but he's an idiot.
Yeah, no, that's his cover story.
Really?
And secretly, then he's like really hard and intimidating and that.
So you're thinking Jar Jar Binks could take on Yoda.
Well, all I'm saying is look at his eyes.
Oh yeah, they're a bit weird, aren't they?
And then look at the Emperor's eyes.
Oh, so you're saying they could be related?
No, they look like Sith eyes.
Sith eyes, yeah. Is there anything in the is there anything in any of the publications that actually says that Jar Jar Binks is anything other than an idiot?
There's one set not long after episode 3, and it makes you feel sorry for him because he's basically sacked and that.
Yeah, that's true.
It hints at him committing suicide.
Okay, fair enough. And the last image. He looks pretty evil, doesn't he? Our future Darth Vader.
If you look at the photo on Tatooine where he's like walking away, if you look at his shadow, it looks like his shadow's Darth Vader. It's in the same shape. But that was unintentional. It happened by accident. Someone just picked up on it.
Oh wow, wow. So coming to the last image now. Maybe I think the biggest problem with Phantom Menace is that it's probably too long.
It is a bit long, isn't it?
I think all the first 3 Phantom Menace and 2 and 3, I think they are all too long, and you can't really compare with New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, for example. To be honest, if you compare Phantom Menace with Empire Strikes Back, there's not as much action in Empire Strikes Back compared with, obviously.
No.
You know,
I'd prefer Revenge of the Sith. I like that one.
Right.
I haven't got any issues with that, really.
Okay. So what's the next film we could do without we don't have to go in sequence.
Just The Last Jedi.
All right, then we'll do The Last Jedi, so that'll be the next one we do. And I know you're probably not very keen on that one, or are you?
It's all right.
No, we'll do that one then.
It's a good film, but it's not the best Star Wars film.
No, okay, fair enough. And finally, what about those little rumors I've heard about a 10th film in the trilogy? But not in the trilogy, in the Pantheon. What about a 10th film? Could they do it?
You probably will in a few years.
So we're going to bring Rey back.
I reckon they'll bring time travel into it and then kind of clean up what happened with the sequel trilogy. Maybe change a few things a bit further back as well. I reckon that's what they'll do.
Right, okay. But is that a good idea?
Up to them.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it now. I'd leave it a while.
What? How many years? 20 years? 10 years? 5?
In between 5 and 10.
Okay.
That's what I'd do.
It's been.
People forget about how they felt about the sequel trilogy and that, and just do the 10th one afterwards.
So a 10th one or another 3. That's the big debate. 3 or 10.
Well, they usually come in trilogies, don't
they? Okay, fair enough. So directly after film 9, not a jump into the future, but just a year after or something. That'd be great. But then again, the actors will be completely different and changed. So
maybe.
So in closing this recording today, Tom, anything else you want to say about Phantom Menace?
No. Give it a 5 out of 10.
3.5 out of 10.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Anyway, this is Tom Savery and Karl-James Langford, and thank you very much for recording. And we look forward to doing The Last Jedi. Thank you very, very much. I'm just going to end the recording now. And here we go.